Afternoon, guys. Okay, if I'm coming up at the third video, there's something going on. Uh, Something to pay attention to. And again, this has to do with food. I talked to you guys this morning about produce basically rotting on the border as it's sitting in trucks, okay? I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist at all, but this is starting to get a little interesting. How many fires we're having in food processing plants. This morning in Salinas, California, okay, which is the coastal area, but central California between San Francisco and Los Angeles, okay. I know the area because DLI, where I went for language school, is in Monterey, and Salinas is basically the nearest town. So you've got Fort Ord there and DLI very close. That whole area is pretty much the major town outside of Monterey over there. Well, Taylor Farms is a processing plant there. Taylor Farms is the biggest food processing vegetables plant or company in the country. They process roughly a third of all the salad fixings we eat in the United States, whether it's lettuce, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, you name it, okay? About a third of like I said, about a third of the produce that we eat goes through this company. The plant caught fire this morning. And the reason I ask if this is, like I said, starting to get a little interesting, okay? It was about a month and a half ago, you had a food processing plant up in Oregon, Hermiston, Oregon, Shearer's Food, that caught fire. You had the Tyson fire last year. I'm finding that, I personally have never seen stories of so often food processing plants catch fire. Now, could this totally be coincidence? Absolutely. Okay. Could this be complete negligence? Absolutely. Okay. Could it be something else? Sure. Okay. Now, this fire that's going on in California, what's interesting about it is the EPA has been called for this one. Why in the hell? The only reason I could think that the EPA would be needed there is because obviously if this is a produce processing facility, you've got a lot of plastic, okay? So petroleum product, again, plastic burning, toxic smoke, et cetera, et cetera. That would be the only thing I'd see. Now they've evacuated the immediate area around this plant. They've told people to shelter in place. They've told them to turn off their air conditioning. Fortunately, this area, California, doesn't get super hot and it's early in the year yet, okay? But this is starting to get concerning because with everything else we're talking about, no fertilizer, okay? There's not going to be as much growing. And I got a dog who's going to probably start wagging her tail here. No fertilizer, so the crops are going to be less. Now, the crops that are grown aren't going to be able to be packaged. Now, sure, I've told you guys before, California itself produces, combined between fruits and vegetables, nearly half of what we eat, okay? That they grow it. The problem is it's got to be packaged, okay? Whether it's lettuce wrapped in plastic or carrots put in plastic or whatever it is, put in boxes, however they want to do it. That's what goes on here. There are other food processing plants, don't get me wrong, out there, of course, but they're all running max capacity. So they don't have the ability to take on more produce to bring it in. Now, it's not like the fields burn down or something like that. That's fine. But just because you can grow it doesn't mean it can get to the grocery store. Now, if you live in Monterey County or anywhere around there, Sure, you're going to be able to get it straight from the farmer, a farmer's market or whatever. But let's talk about the people in, oh, I don't know, Elko, Nevada, okay, who are, let's say, are getting their produce from there. All of a sudden, there's not as much. They can't ship this stuff. If they can't package the vegetables, it basically spoils, rots, whatever it would be. So this is where we get into another food problem. And again, like I say over and over and over again, grow your own, okay? But more importantly, the causes of all of these, again, the short attention span that we have in the world anymore, it's like all of a sudden click and everything's gone. You could probably look it up. It never gets talked about. What was the cause of the fire at Tyson? What was the cause of the fire in Oregon, whatever it is? Fire investigations don't take 20 minutes and they go, oh, okay, fine, this was it. Why is this happening? There's always a why. Fires don't just spontaneously combust most of the time, okay? Was it a lightning strike? Was it a gas valve? Whatever it would be. But then if it was something mechanical that went wrong, why did the mechanical part go wrong? That's where I'm going with this. Is sabotage? Is somebody trying to do this? I don't know. Somebody who wants us to eat bugs, maybe? Are they trying to, quote unquote, starve out the population? Guys, it gets more and more and more important every day. Here's 2 stories in one day. Food rotting on the southern border, food not being able to be packaged out west. I don't know what I can tell people to open their eyes up and say, gee, maybe if I want lettuce on that 4th of July hamburger, maybe I should grow it myself. Gee, maybe if I want jalapenos on my pizza that I make in my brick oven in the backyard, maybe I should grow it myself. Maybe if I want to have a salad, maybe I should grow it myself. Because y'all been to the grocery store. The cost of vegetables is going through the roof. Both of these things are going to make it go even higher. And I don't know about anybody else, but I really don't feel like having to start financing my grocery shopping, Gee, Marge, let's take a second mortgage on the house so we can go to Kroger this weekend. That's not in, or at least shouldn't be, in anybody's financial plans. It's like, hey, we'll just put it on the credit card. No, okay? You don't need to be paying interest on a hamburger, okay? Basic necessities in life. Food, shelter, clothing, water, those you should have all the time. So, this plant is not going to be back up and running. Oh, gee, we figured the fire's out. Okay, everybody back to work. You're talking a massive acres plant here. It's going to take a year, 2 years to rebuild it. This is not a short-term problem, guys. This is one of the biggest food processing plants for vegetables in the country. It's going to hit us all. Thought you might want to be aware. Pinball out.